Hey everyone, Emmanuel here. In this video, I'm going to show you guys the way I would stretch my legs in kind of a static position. Now, the research on static stretch meaning stretches from set positions, okay? The research on that is varied. Some people say there's benefits, some people say there's no benefits. I tend to find that there are definite benefits. But I'll let you discover that for yourself. Static stretches would be those stretches, you might probably did them in gym class or in years gone by, where you just touch your toes, you're sitting in a fixed position and fixed stretches for certain muscle groups. I think there's some value in them, and I actually feel and find there's a direct way of training in Systema specifically with the static stretches. So I'm going to tell you what I mean. So when you start to stretch, so let's say I got my legs out in front of me, toes up, and I'm stretching here, okay? If I'm, most people, you see them, reaching towards like their toes or something, and they call it stretching, but they're not stretching. What they're doing is tensing. So a muscle, when put to its max, like a cable pulls, and that cable gets tight and tense because you're stretching. So it doesn't really become a stretch until you relax that muscle. So the muscle is under tension as I'm reaching towards my toes. And then with my breathing, this is where the Systema part comes in. With my breathing and my relaxation, I relax into that tension, and it becomes a stretch, because now I'm training my muscles to lighten up, like relax. And by relaxing, they start to elongate and they stretch, and they'll adapt to that. So that's the Systema piece, where you can actually study stretching, all kinds of stretching. Let's pick static stretching for now. We'll show you others. But static stretching is simple. There's lots of it on YouTube you can find if you want. And where the connection lies with Systema is that you actually try to relax those tense muscles that are stretching with breathing and relaxation, and relaxing into the stretch or into that position. It becomes Systema, because now you're training yourself to relax under pressure. So let me show you some of kind of my routine or my things that I do, and then you can go from there. And you can, the world's your oyster. There's so many options for you to try. So I hope you do, but I'll just show you my little routine, and then hopefully you can take it to a new level. So I'm gonna go back a little bit, and you can see me a little bit. So I'm gonna put my feet up like this. I don't like them usually out like that, but up. My legs are straight. I don't have my knees up, but they're flat down. And I start with my hands on my thighs, and I just kind of go down. And what I notice is the first place I got tense or tight, and it was in my back, not in the back of my legs actually. The back of my legs feel really good. There's no tension there. But my back, unfortunately, is a little tight today. So as I'm here, rather than pulling through this, I'm just gonna kind of relax those muscles that are tight. I'm gonna kind of talk to them, so to speak, right? So I'm just kind of breathing, and I'm focusing my breathing to where the tightness is. Again, if you're tight in the hamstrings or you're tight in the calves, just breathe to that position. For me, it's the back, so I'm breathing towards my back. And again, I'm holding it for about 10, 20 seconds, whatever's kind of comfortable. Again, main focus is relaxing into the movement, so that it goes from a tension to a relaxation and then to a stretch, okay? So this is a great place to start. Being able to touch your toes is something I see a lot of people can't do. And you really want to get to the point where you don't just touch your toes, but you can get under it, okay? That's really a good measure of some flexibility. That's not the only one, but it's a good one, right? And I'll do some variations of this. Sometimes I'll maybe cross one leg over and kind of reach forward. So what I'm getting is a stretch through the back of my leg and a stretch through the kind of side of my leg in a different way. You do kind of like this. And again, in this case, now I don't feel it in my back anymore, but I feel it in the back of my leg, because I've got the weight of this leg pushing down, putting the knee into hyperextension a little bit. And then I've got the added strain of me reaching forward. So I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna try to relax into this stretch. And then I'll do the same thing for the other side. Again, I'm gonna go a little bit quicker just because I want to cover everything, right? So on this leg, it's totally different. I don't feel much on the back of the leg. I don't feel much on the calves or all. A little bit on my back, but now for some reason, a little bit more in the shoulder for whatever reason. So again, I'm gonna really be tuned into my body, not kind of getting angry at it, but tuning into it, and very, very slowly trying to kind of relax into that stretch. If you put the bottom of your feet together, this is going to kind of stretch like the inside of your legs, but it can also get up into the back as well. So I'm going to grab my ankles and I'm going to push my elbows down into trying to get the legs flat on the ground. Again, there's going to be some tension on the inside of the leg for me, I feel now. And I'm just going to slowly start to kind of breathe and relax. And what I'm going to do slowly as well is kind of maybe grab my toes and not lift my toes up, but try the space between my face and just slowly bring myself down. Now I can feel it in my back. So at this point, again, I change my focus with my breathing and I start to focus on relaxing the muscles of the back now. I can literally feel myself with every breath. I breathe in and I breathe out, I relax. I can actually feel myself slowly dropping, like deflating or molding into the movements, into the stretch. So super nice feeling to feel. And when you come up, you can kind of check it out, right? The other one I do is more like this. So it's like your legs are together. You just put them out as comfortable as you can, right? Make sure that your knees are not up. Make sure the legs are flat, the toes are straight up, they're not pointing left and right. And again, I start with my hands on my thighs and I slowly progress out. And I just get to the point where my body naturally, you might be stuck up here, guys. I don't know, right? It's fine. If you're up here and you're like here, it's fine. Just with your fingers, millimeter by millimeter, you know, again, relax yourself, breathe to the tension, and slowly, like you can see me, slowly and slowly, millimeter by millimeter. Allow your upper body to get heavy. Allow the inside and the back of your legs, like any part of your leg that starts to get tight, to kind of just, I guess, don't scare it. Don't like yank into it. Just allow your body to get heavy. It just by relaxing, you get so heavy. Again, 20, 30 seconds, 10, 20. The longer, it's usually a little bit better. You get towards 30 seconds, you tend to have kind of a deeper relaxation, so more time. And again, practice your breathing, like you're really connecting to the systema piece here, right? And then when I get to kind of the lowest point, I start to migrate over to one of my legs, very, very slowly. And I try to lay my ribs down on that leg. Again, everyone's gonna start somewhere different, right? I like to add the other arm just to kind of hold the other side down so it's not lifting me up. Then I come up and I go to the other side. I try to go slowly here because your body's, you know, you're working with your body. You don't want a quick movements. You want to enjoy and see what the difference was. And then I try to go back to the middle again one more time just to see how it was. And as you can see, I've obviously improved my range a little bit going left and right. It's helped me down the middle here. So you just kind of, again, I get to the point where there's tension and now my body, without even thinking about it, my breathing relaxes me. It's maybe doesn't come out on video, but to me now, I've done this so long that I've trained my body. The moment it meets tension, that breathing and relaxation is gonna follow so it doesn't panic, okay? Slowly come up. And you see how that feels, right? to me. It feels good through the spine, through the legs. Then I take my leg, I put it kind of like on the inside. You can think of it like put it on the inside of the one leg here. The leg that's straight now, I'm going to swing it all the way around behind me, so just watch. And what I have is, I have the shin bone of my leg parallel with my shoulders. Okay? So I don't know if you can see it there in the video. But literally, this shoulder's on the knee and this shoulder's on the ankle, okay? And I'm just lying here. Now, this is a tricky stretch. I've been doing it for a while. It really stretches towards the top of your butt, your glutes, and really deep on the inside of your leg on the opposites. Hard to explain how many things are working here, right? Kind of show you a side view of it. Okay, so legs lying just like that. Again, breathing relaxation into it. I think when I first started, I was up here. Like I was like, this is as much as it could go. And then very, very slowly, the flexibility in my back and my legs started to improve. And I could get to a place like this. And then you can start to add so many little variations into these things by moving, right? Like you can start reaching and twisting and feeling the effects. So right now I'm twisting into my low back and I can feel the effects. So the key here, key takeaways. Those are just a few, guys. I have many more I can show you, but those are the basics. When the legs are in front of you, you're stretching out the back of the leg and the low back. When you're in a butterfly stretch with your knees open and you're pushing down, you're stretching the inside of the leg. When you have the leg under you and one leg back, you're stretching the outside of it. And there's tons of them. There's really is tons. It is endless amounts. The trick here is you can type in, static stretches and see how many there are. There's tons. I can't even cover them all in one place. But where the big important piece now is that you connect the static stretch, like you connect stretching with Systema. And the connection is, I get to a point where my muscles are tense because they're pushed to the range, and then I insert relaxation and breathing, and it becomes a stretch. It becomes a stretch when you relax. Until then, it's called a tense, because that's what's happening, you're tensing. When you relax it, it becomes a stretch. And practiced over 4 to 6 weeks, more towards 12, you will start to see noticeable benefits in your range of motion, your range of movement, which is where this is going to lead to. Because the next thing I'm going to show you in the videos is stretching through movement. So it's not static, it's dynamic stretching. So dynamic stretching is through a movement. It's not in a set position. But the static stretches do have a good place, guys. They do have a good place. Don't overlook them. I feel there is some value in them, and you'll decide for yourself how much. I love starting with the static stretches, like the joint movements, then the static stretches, and then getting into more dynamic stretches. I find they all fit in really nice, and I also find a wonderful way to train in Systema from a different perspective, from a way of stretching. All this stuff is definitely transferable towards the martial arts, okay? I could go on and on showing you stretches for the legs standing up, stretches for the legs standing down, but I personally think it'll be too much. I think there's already so much information out there. What I'm really trying to communicate is my perspective, which is find a move that makes you uncomfortable, that makes you tense as a stretch, relax into it, and find Systema in that regards. And I think you'll make your own decision as to how much static stretching you do, how much dynamic stretching you do. You'll use those parameters and figure it out yourself, okay? Hope this was helpful, and another video coming up on dynamic stretches now. Take care, bye-bye.